Well, guys and gals, it is Monday, and you know what Monday means. Brandon Johnson, I have returned, that's right, to talk about the weekend shootings in Chicago, the mayhem, the chaos, the nightmare. And this time it seems like the people doing the shooting, well, their aim's getting a lot better. Their aim is getting better because it seems like less people were shot, but more people were killed this time, which is sad. It is sad, no doubt. Back-to-back Democratic mayors. One defunded the police. Oh, and then tried to back out of it. The other wants to re-image and may have already re-imaged some of the police. We know that's colorful. Let me hide the negative stigma around defund the police. That saying, that slogan. And Chicago is so bad, folks. And you guys know Greg Abbott has shipped migrants up there. I think he's maybe sent 20,000 something up there. I mean, bravo. I'm in Texas. Way to go, Greg Abbott. Up there because Chicago has been carrying sanctuary city status, and you've got Democrats that have turned into MAGA supporters up there because of that. Funny how that works. They're laying around in police stations and all kinds of other places, taking away their community resources. And that's something that we've covered, that I've made videos on myself. Well, guess what? They're fed up with Chicago. They're going back home. Oh, we'll get to the shootings and the weekend report first. But, boy, if that is not a sad indictment of a Democratic city, that they're like, okay, Chicago's a shithole, we're out. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. This is crazy. This is crazy. And they didn't realize because look, they agreed to go. Don't let the mainstream media fool you. They tried to pull the whole, they didn't know they were going. Remember to New York and Chicago, and I think, didn't he send some to like Greenwich or one of those places where all the rich leftist people live, the elite? Oh, it was hilarious. It might have been DeSantis that did that, not Abbott. I can't remember exactly. Let's get to this. New York Post, and I've got some others here that we'll get to. Some Venezuelan migrants who trekked thousands of miles to the U.S. in search of a better life are so disheartened they say they're already heading home. Look, this is what happens when communities get together, become unified, start looking at things a little bit differently. Yeah, guess what? Yeah, your resources are being ripped away from you. Michael Castajon, 39 years old, told Chicago Tribune that he has had enough after he and his wife and teenage stepdaughter spent 5 months sleeping either in a police precinct or crowded city shelter in the now brutally cold, windy city. It gets cold in Chicago. That's a thing that happens right up there. It does. It's brutal winters. He's also been unable to secure a job permit or enroll his daughter in a local school. I don't feel bad for you. I don't. Even though Biden, our president, really invited you over here. I mean, that is something that can be said in all this, and we shouldn't lose sight of that fact. Two of the main things they thought would bring a better life in the U.S. Quote, "The American dream doesn't exist anymore." He told the paper on the eve of his family's departure, "There's nothing here for us. We just want to go home." John told the Tribune of the South American country he earlier fled. "If we're going to be sleeping in the streets here, we'd rather be sleeping in the streets over there." I don't doubt it. In Chicago, you're liable to get shot. You're liable to freeze to death. What's the point? Go back to where it's hot and brutally humid. More than 20,000 migrants have made their way to Chicago since August 2022, when Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott began loading them onto buses and shipping them off to sanctuary cities. Many of them ended up sleeping at O'Hare International Airport at local police stations are in the streets. So that's not hindering the police's ability to combat crime at all. Having all these extra people, all this extra chaos going on with all these migrants walking around. I mean, there's stories now coming out about prostitution and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, crime's going crazy, and we'll get to that, but think about that, folks. It's the collateral stuff, the things you don't think about, the shrapnel that comes off of some of this. Fed up with the lack of housing and job opportunities, Pastor John eventually followed in the footsteps of other disillusioned asylum seekers and turned to Catholic charities to obtain plane tickets for his family to travel to Texas. From there, they will somehow find their way to their native Venezuela. How many more months of living in the streets will it take? No more. It's better that I leave, and at least I have my mother back home, said the South American, I guess it's supposed to be, said of the South American nation he fled earlier this year. And we're among numerous disheartened asylum seekers who decided to leave Chicago in recent weeks as the weather has grown colder and wetter. Yeah, it'll also get cold in New York, too. I think, actually, some of those folks, didn't they say they're pulling out of New York, too? Yeah, they're leaving New York. Eric Adams, New York City, they're out. And by the way, I was reading this article. It does go on in a scathing letter to President Biden. October, Illinois Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker accused the federal government of failing to provide adequate assistance to Chicago for migrant crisis, brought the city to a breaking point. The humanitarian crisis is overwhelming our ability to provide aid to the refugee population. You said sanctuary state, sanctuary city. This is what, when you lobbied to be a democratic socialist, everybody's welcome in. Everybody, come on down. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out. Guess what? They're going back to Venezuela, where socialism is a thing and you can't hardly get a loaf of bread. And if you do, it's probably way too high priced. This is what happens, folks. Pay attention to who you vote for. Vote Donald Trump. Yeah. So, let's go, folks. At least 8 people were killed and 16 others injured or hurt across Chicago as of Saturday. And I believe this is the updated total because I checked and it was updated at around 8 a.m. this morning. And let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start with, in the first shooting of the weekend, 2 people were shot while inside a car in the 3500 block of West Schrader Drive in Garfield Park around 5:24. Wow. Chicago police said a 36-year-old victim was struck in the thigh and hand, was taken to Stroger Hospital in serious condition. Second victim, an unknown male, was struck in the body, pronounced dead. Yeah, let me scroll down because I did see, unfortunately, at 2:50 p.m., the middle of the afternoon. Like you can't go out at 2:50, at 3 o'clock, you can't go outside, you get shot. In the 13,000 block of South Drexel Avenue, sounds like a lovely place, a 17-year-old boy was shot in the chest and the right arm by an unknown offender. He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition. I mean, there's a woman shot, another woman shot. God, what a mess. 18-year-old man, 7,000 block of South Ashland Avenue at 7:49 a.m. I mean, that's not even like, it's getting up to go buy a newspaper. He suffered a gunshot wound to the right foot and self-transported to Holy Cross Hospital in good condition. You know what I'm doing at 7:49 in the a.m. on a weekend? I'm going down to get some donuts and a kolache. And you're getting shot in Chicago. Man, those donuts aren't worth it. Yeah, I'm going to have to skip it. 19-year-old man right here shot, multiple gunshot wounds to the body. This is crazy. Monday. I mean, it's carried over into Monday. 38-year-old, 35-year-old, 23-year-old. And in case you're keeping count or keeping score at home, 522 people had been shot through midnight, had been killed in Chicago. Maybe some of them got knifed to death. 522 people were killed in Chicago as of midnight Sunday. You can add 3 more to that. So 525 for the year have lost their life there too. So let's see. 8, 16, 24 shot, 8 dead. I don't get it. Again, 7:50 in the morning on a weekend. I'm thinking about, I guess I don't buy a newspaper anymore. My dad still went out that time of the morning, bought a newspaper when he was still alive a couple of years ago. But, yeah, at 7:50 a.m., I guess, on a Sunday morning, you could get shot and killed in Chicago. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Believe it or not, we had a bad homicide around here in my neck of the woods. Over the weekend, a sheriff's deputy buddy of mine, we were talking, and they're looking for a guy that killed two women right here. And his house wasn't that far from me, like 3 or 4 miles as the crow flies, but he's not there. He's fled the area, they think. Man, absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. But that's a rare thing. East Texas is in a code red over that. And law enforcement is everywhere right now looking for this guy I'm talking about. In Chicago, they don't have the resources for it. They're spread too thin. They're worried about migrants. They're worried about the normal crime they got. Police have drug up and quit, went to other places where they actually appreciate cops. And they respect them and pay them a respectable salary, and the people in the city don't vote to defund them and give them less of what they need to control crime. I wouldn't stay either. I'd go somewhere else. I'd go to Texas or Florida. Just don't vote blue when you get to either place. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.